Yo, what's up, everybody? This is a 1 and 0 edition, number 4 edition, LS Who edition of the Listen Up podcast. It is your boy, Brandon.
This your boy Sam.
Hey, man, we are ready to dive into it. I don't want to waste no time. We don't have to wait a couple days. We've all seen what's happened. We've seen all the speculation. The polls have come out. Clemson is lost. I mean, it's a lot of stuff to tackle, man. Sam, what you want to dive into first, man?
Let's get into the game.
Of course. I mean, so as we know right now, it's 45. I'm gonna say 17 because I mean, we give them, they got 24 points, but it was, well after the game was over with. But anyway, I mean, it was a tale of two halves, right? I thought, I know you, Sam. I kind of know how you think a little bit. I think you may even tweeted it out. Going into halftime, I was like, we probably played our worst half of football that I'd seen in a long time, and at least 7-8 games. They didn't look polished. They didn't look crisp. They were making a lot of dumb turnovers. It didn't look like a Mike Norvell team. And then second half, it was a completely different ball club that came out, and we saw how good these guys really can be, and it looked a lot like how I expected. Way too many weapons.
Yeah, I thought the first half when I was watching it, I was kind of concerned. I was like, damn, they was getting home with 3, especially in that second quarter. They was getting home with 3. And then in the first half, the first quarter, I felt like our defensive tackles was playing well, but I didn't feel like our ends was really doing nothing the whole game. The whole first quarter, second quarter. Huh?
Yeah, they were missing.
Yeah. So, and I thought Jordan had got kind of razzled, I thought he kind of got like a little, he was a little shaky. And this why I have to give Mike like a lot of credit, because I thought him kind of managing the offense where he didn't let them lose the game by making crazy turnovers or running crazy plays. He kind of like gave them like easy throws, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of settled the offense down going into the half where they was able to, get a touchdown. I think they got a touchdown. They kicked the field goal, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought he did a good job managing them, because I thought it was kind of getting away from the offensive line a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And,
it definitely was.
Yeah, and on the line of scrimmage, I thought it was getting away from them. Now, I thought because of the way, I think when you're watching the game live and you can see everything that's going on, I think Mike kind of felt like, because the way I was watching, I know Rose said it, he tweeted it also, like LSU had wide receivers running wide open. Like anytime they ran a motion, they was running wide open. But your boy could not see. It's like he couldn't see him, and he wasn't going to unload the clip and hit the wide receiver. So I think because of that reason, it gave Mike confidence. Like, okay, I can settle my offense. I'm going to score eventually. And I think, and I also felt like Brian Kelly felt anxiety to score touchdowns and not kick field goals. I thought two of them fourth down calls, he should have actually kicked the field goal.
It wouldn't have made no difference.
Well, I'm saying I think it would have. I
think it would have ended the same way regardless.
I think the defense did a great job of playing big in big moments. They didn't always play great, but I thought in the big moment when they had to get a stop on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 at the goal line, they did a good job rising to the occasion. And I thought that was probably, I think, because sometimes you have to manage your team where you don't give the game away before you can go take the game. And I thought coming out that third quarter, I thought Mike did a good job taking the game from LSU. Him and Jordan Travis and those wide receivers. And man, I know I said this on the pod that Keon Coleman I felt like he could swing games for us.
Yeah.
He's one of the few players I felt like could do that on the roster.
Right.
And yeah, man, that dude might be one of the best wide receivers FSU's had in a really long time. I think somebody said, only person I come up, somebody said Bolden. I think maybe Javon Walker was pretty good too. But other than those two, I don't know if it's been a wide receiver that good at FSU in a long, long time, man. And I like KB. You know how much I like Rashad Green. But man, Coleman just looked different, dude. He really do. Like seeing him up close in person, he looked different, dude.
My man said there's no 50-50 balls. Like,
Yeah, admit that.
you know what I mean? Admit that.
Yeah,
Admit that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like it's a little different when your man say ain't no 50-50 balls and then just grab all the 50-50 balls.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you
yeah.
got a dude who's 90-10, that's real good.
Mhm.
But when you go 100% on 50-50 balls,
Yeah.
sheesh. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna get spooky hours. You know what I mean? Like I thought the biggest thing was how tough this team is. Man, watching again, you watch it from the stadium, and I don't know if they ever, hung their head or anything like that. But on the side, like you never thought that they were like, all right, they got us. Like it felt early on that Florida State felt very confident that they could beat LSU, and they were going to beat LSU. They just needed to settle down. And it was as soon as they settled down. I don't know what it took. I don't know what Mike. We do know a little bit what Mike said to him at halftime, but whatever he did, he calmed them enough to be able to actually execute the second half
I think
completely differently than they did in the first half.
Yeah, inserting Bless Harris into the lineup, I think was
Very
pretty
big adjustment.
I think that was a big adjustment. I think
and you said that though. We said that, and I said I think it wouldn't even. They may not make it to the game depending on how or through the game with that lineup, depending on how that game goes. So
yeah, and I think putting Edmund in for Pat Payton was a big adjustment. Also,
very much.
And I kind of figured that game wouldn't be a great game for him because just of the matchups in that game. But I don't think Norvell really adjusted scheme wise. I think he just kind of made certain substitution with certain guys. You know what I'm saying? The Pat Payton, Bless Harris. And I think he changed somebody else on the offensive line too in the guard position.
He did. He did. I forgot who it was, but yeah, he did. He made two adjustments to the offensive line.
Jones? I think it might have been Jones.
Don't make me lie to you.
It's tough because they don't call it out in the statement. They don't really call that out. So you just have to. So I know he made some adjustments on that offensive line, but I think once he did that, man, it just kind of cemented everything. And then after that, they were just able to just go play.
Right. And at that point, you saw that that's when we were able to see how talented this team can be. Like the first half was so, I guess, discombobulated. I thought the refs, you were in the group chat. I was watching from home looking at this thinking, are the refs intentionally cheating? Like it looked real wild on TV.
I will say this right here, to be honest with you. And I know Rose said it because we were both at the game. We wasn't next to each other, but he was somewhere else. But I know when I was watching on the kick return, on the kickoff, Jared Verse is on the kickoff, right? They kicked the ball off. Jared Verse runs straight down the field, and he's like, because the ball's clearly going into the end zone. Like he's like saying certain shit, like saying certain stuff. And the referee like pulled him aside. And then like once that happened, I was kind of like, that probably wasn't a great idea to do all that talking, as soon as the ball get kicked off.
Yeah.
And another thing I think influenced a lot of it was, and I know people don't want to hear this, but this is something true because I know I listened to Sean Payton say this. If you hit somebody on the other team sideline, where their players and coaches are at, it's like they influence the referee to throw flags. They just, they just, and it's just in the game. So a lot of times, and then one time FSU had the guy out of bounds. They was holding the guy, and then somebody just ran in and like hit him. I'm like, what you want to do? They're gonna throw a flag. You know what I'm saying?
No, and I agree with you on all of it. But we don't spend very much time on the refs because we won the game. But what I will say is those calls didn't look the same. I know how they felt in the stadium. I'm telling you, when I on watching like game we talked about where he was when they were holding him up and somebody came and hit him. That was not a boneheaded play. It did not look like he was out of bounds, and it really looked like he was still fighting for yards when he came in and hit him. So I'm like, that's too close of a call to make. The holding call when the personal foul that they called on the sideline, I thought that was legit. The problem is they picked up a clear holding on that same play call, and that's the thing that didn't get showed. Like dudes getting grabbed and they was getting held all night long. And they weren't calling it that first, like they just refused to call it. For LSU to have finished that first half with 0 penalties,
but I thought
it definitely helped them out because they were not committing 0 penalties for you to have ended the game with 0.
Yeah, but I think when you get into those big time matchups, because the FSU get called for a holding, because I don't think those referees like to call holding in big time matchups, though. I mean, I don't know. I don't really recall.
I don't recall there was a holding either. You're right. There were no calls
on a holding either.
I don't believe so either. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think like in those big matchups. I mean, I don't think you really want referees calling holding in big matchups, like unless unless it's like really egregious, like tackling somebody to the ground.
They were at the point of contact.
Now,
Like on that one specifically, it was when
and
he
then I
threw the
thought,
flag enough to have called it. Why would he have then picked it up to enforce the personal foul? I think that was the thing. The roughing the passer, correct. Even the roughing the passer on Jordan Travis that didn't get called.
Yeah,
man was clearly down. That's got to be called.
On that particular one, to me, like just looking at it, it looked like the player jumped over Jordan Travis, and then another looked like he was sliding. They started sliding at the same time. I thought that was iffy. I thought Jordan probably should have got it, but I couldn't really sit there and say throw it, don't throw it. I don't know, man, because I'm one of the people I want to see less flags as possible. I'm one of those people.
I'm with you too. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I thought that helped LSU get in position and make a game out of again. They were able to make it out of a game early in that half. I thought because referees' assistance. That's my opinion. It don't matter because again, I even with all of that, when we went to the half 17-14, I looked at the game and said, FSU gonna win this game. Like there was zero doubt in my mind that FSU was gonna win the game when they went in 17-14.
Right.
Because I was like, at this point, it was almost simple. Stop throwing these passes to Johnny Wilson. Start throwing them to Keon Coleman. We respect Johnny and everything he got to do, but you got to do who's better. So let's just swap the roles and see how better the offense gets. And what you saw in the second half was all right. Johnny, we'll get into you if you open, and we trust you to catch it a little bit. But we know we got this other dude over here, and we've been kind of keeping it quiet. So let's just go ahead and feature him.
I thought that was another factor that that I had concern for going into the game. And I think I said it to you. I said on the podcast, I was like, is he going to be on the same page with Keon Coleman going right into the game? Because if he is, okay, you got you something. Because, I mean, like I told people, I like Johnny Wilson, man, but if you throw it to him 8 times, he's going to catch it 4. And they're going to be big plays and big plays. I ain't saying they're not going to be big plays. They're going to be big plays. But
they are.
But sometimes they drive killers. You know what I'm saying?
He killed momentum. Like that's the problem. It wasn't the fact that he dropped the first down. You dropping third down, first downs. You know what I mean? That one, he's in the middle of the field with nobody within 10 yards of him. You know what I mean? He's gonna run for another 20 yards. That's a drive killer. That is a momentum killer. It kills your court. Like you saw Jordan Travis' confidence even drop after that last one, that last third down drop. That was when Jordan started pressing. You know what I mean? Because at this point, he was like, dog, my number one guy is not giving me what I need. At this point, I think that was what started a little bit of him kind of getting a little rattled. All right, we need to get some points, and my main guy ain't doing it. Right. Again, I don't know who told him, hey, man, you got another dude on this other side. Like, we ain't got to use him. This ain't last year. You don't have to force it to Johnny. We got somebody else. And I think it took him a minute to realize, I don't have to force it to Johnny. And as Keon Coleman continued to make plays and continue to show he was him, it eventually went. I don't know if you saw that second half. It was like 90-30. I mean, it was real. It was like 90-10 in the ball percentages of where he was going versus, he looking for Keon first. And if Johnny open, I might throw it to Johnny.
Yeah, I mean,
that switched in his brain, in my opinion.
Sometimes you gotta go and I think that was my biggest thing going into the game. Like, what big time players are gonna show up in the big time spots, and he's like, what players gonna separate himself? You seen it all across college football yesterday too.
Yep.
Not yesterday, but the whole weekend. Like these big time players separating themselves from the rest of the pack, saying, "Oh nah, I'm on the field today, so I'm finna take the game over." And Keon Coleman, man, Jesus Christ, dude, he was open. I'm gonna say this: watching the game, the first half, they could have threw him the ball about 7 straight times, and I promise you, he would have caught 7 straight. He would have had 150 yards going into the second half.
He was that open? It looked like that because I don't see it on TV.
I'm dead serious. He was that open, dude.
Sheesh.
That open.
Yeah. See, and that's what I mean. Like, it's going, and this is what I talked about, and this is what we talked about before the game, right? I looked again. This is without seeing Keon. This is just off of the hype that they were talking about. I looked around and said, "How do you stop Jaheim Bell? How do you stop Keon Coleman? How do you stop the stable of running backs? How do you stop Jordan?"
Well,
it gets really difficult.
To the running back situation, but
listen, I thought again, just like last year, I thought the running backs ran timid in between the tackles. I don't know why they started the same way last season, and then built their confidence up along. They missed holes. Again, it was just.
It's not running backs though. It's one running back. It's not running.
It is one running back, and I'm trying not to, because that's what I know. We got, we got a fan club member, in the audience, so we're gonna keep it chill.
I think he's a
very good running back. He's just,
but he just these matchups, man, you got to have quick feet and decisive. You got to be decisive with quick feet and good vision. And I think with him, it's a little bit of a struggle sometimes for him in
It
those type of
really is.
matchups. But I'm gonna tell you something though. I'm not playing. Rodney Hill is
He
gonna be
him.
like by the time he's all said and done at FSU, Rodney Hill gonna be like a top 5 running back at FSU.
Here's why I like Rodney Hill. Rodney Hill, there's just certain players who just got a little bit of edge to them. Listen to Rodney Hill speak. You realize he got some edge to him, and I like that. But you listen to Jaheim Bell, he got some edge to him. You know what I mean? Listen to the guy speak, and you realize, oh, that these are the things we were talking about when we were like, we don't have no dogs on this team. Who's the leader of your team? What's your identity? What's your team's identity? And this team's identity is toughness. I thought, man, one of the most favorite things I enjoyed is at the end of that game, as Jaheim Bell is piling on points. You look at Mike's face. Mike had the Kobe eyes. You know what I mean? Like Mike looked like he was ready. You know what I mean? Like he was dialed in. Like it. I want to see that. You know what I mean? You want to see that fire because that permeates through your team. Your team kept fighting. Your team kept playing, and they kept going because their coach was like, "Nah, let's keep going." And I think that's a wonderful thing for Mike, because again, Mike came from where I thought he was close to losing the locker room to rebuilding an entirely new locker room. You know what I mean? That's impressive, man. That's very impressive. I thought you talked about it. We talked about the game being won and lost in the trenches. It was a tale of two halves. The adjustments made by Mike Norvell on the offensive line completely shut down everything. Harold Perkins, me and you may disagree. I said he was a no-show. According to Pro Football Focus, which I really don't like dealing with, he was the worst graded player on the field that night. I thought we did it. Whatever we schemed against him, I thought we did an amazing job scheming against him.
Well, I think the Harold Perkins thing, this is what I say. In the first half, I thought they did the right thing with him by saying, we're going to spy. We're going to kind of allow you to make sure you keep Jordan in the pocket and flush him and things. And he was jumping like a lot of time when Jordan was like double clutching. You see him double clutch a lot in the first half? Well, that was Perkins jumping into lanes, right? So I was fine with that. But I thought, and this is why NFL coaches are better than college coaches. Because why did you just decide I'm just going to leave him? First of all, you made it very easy to identify him as the spy linebacker. You made that very easy to identify.
Very easy.
So you came back the second half I'm thinking, okay, now they're gonna probably start moving him around. No, they just left him there. So he was just
left by this space freestyling.
Yeah, so he just left in no man's land and just, I mean, it was just kind of crazy to me. So the first half, I thought to me, the whole game he did was what he was asked to do, but it didn't ask him to do much. So I just thought it was kind of bad coaching. I thought Norvell just outcoached.
I was just gonna say, is there certain coaches that just have other coaches' number? Because in every matchup against Brian Kelly, I felt like he's out, even without the better team, he has outcoached Brian Kelly. Like every single time they match up, I just feel like he outcoaches Brian Kelly. And Mac Brown's another one. I hope North Carolina ends up, where we end up having to play them. Mac Brown, he gets outcoached by Mike every time. Like every single time, whatever he bringing into the stadium is getting out coached. I don't know why it is, but certain coaches have other coaches' number. I guess what I'm trying to figure out, how do you get that advantage? Because if I'm Brian Kelly and I know exactly I have a year to prepare for what this coach is getting ready to do, how do you get out coached this poorly? Because he got our coach. Like it wasn't close. And again, even in the first half, I didn't think, again, I thought FSU did a lot to kill themselves versus LSU imposing their will. I thought they had, some guys making a play here and there, but for the most part, I felt like FSU just kept aiding them on defense and then not capitalizing on offense. The game plan was the game plan, and it was going to work regardless. Like how do you know what I mean? How does one coach end up with that much of an advantage in the coaching skill without, or in that coaching level without it?
I think what LSU was doing in the first half was they did the right thing. They just didn't, like, sometimes I know people don't want to hear this because it's like a cliche word from coaches. Sometimes you're just not executing. Like, like LSU come out the first drive, they run the motion, they hit the swing play, right? You know this defense don't deal with motion, they hit the swing play. Dude run down the field 80 yards, right?
They don't do that well at all. Boy.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, so it's not like, they just wasn't doing it. They just didn't execute in big moments. Then you get down the field and Jaden Daniels, instead of handing the ball off, decides to take the ball, and the dude hits him for a loss. And then he decides, instead of taking the ball, he hands the ball. He was getting hit for another loss. Now it's 4th and 1. Then Jaden Daniels can't throw the fade route, right? So he throws it clearly behind the guy. Then the guy said, "Man, throw the ball up." Then he throw it clearly out of bounds the next time. And it's like, I'm telling you.
Hold on. But I told you, Sam, I said this.
Yeah, but my thing is,
he was going to have to prove to me he can throw. And when Kirk kept saying, like, we just leaving him out on islands.
Yeah.
Right. That's disrespect. We don't believe you can hit this guy consistently enough. So we will forget the safety help, bring everybody up. You know what I mean? What they do in baseball? Everybody up. Come on, guy. You ain't got to worry about him hitting out the park. That's what it was. It was simply, no, we trust our guys enough that your guy cannot make this throw. And all night long, he could not make that throw. He did. I thought he did a decent job in the first half. You know what I mean? Of getting some of those comeback routes.
No, dude. In that first half, dude, FSU they was turning guys loose in the secondary. Dudes was wide open. He wasn't throwing the ball. And I'm not saying this to take anything away from FSU. I'm just saying in general, sometimes your team just don't execute. Like, I looked at Clemson and Duke yesterday. It's clear to me that Clemson was better than Duke yesterday. But you're not executing simple handoffs. You're fumbling the ball. You're kicking it all around the lot. You know what I'm saying? And then you look up. You're in the fourth quarter when you got this score, and now you all types of trouble. You're just not executing. Like, and you can say the coach got out coached, and I think
Sam,
Norvell out coached him.
Duke. I can't do it with Duke, Sam.
No, I'm just saying in general.
It's Clemson and Duke.
Right.
We have been playing football for a long time, and Duke has never beat us.
But
we've had some really bad teams.
But you're asking about coaching. You're asking about
coaching, I get what you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Sometimes it's just as simple as people are just not executing, and that's fine. And I told somebody, because we was on a timeline arguing about Colorado, and I was saying that Colorado team was just put together 3 months ago. How are they executing at that type of a level, in that type of game, in that type of a spot? You have to give coaches and players credit for doing that. Like, that's hard, because all across college football yesterday, you know what I saw? People,
a whole lot of penalties.
People not executing. You know what I'm saying? People missing wide open throws. People throwing swing routes to running backs that's making the running backs have to stop, come back, and catch the ball and get tackled for losses.
We're going to get back to Florida State, but I do want – that's a very good point you made, because it was the first thing I noticed. They got to halftime and didn't have a single penalty. And didn't even – and wasn't close to get – I didn't see anything that I thought they got away with. They literally you got to give Deion some credit when it comes to just having that team mentally ready for that game. Like you said, this is a makeshift group of guys who never have known each other. To get them to jail, buy in for a first game, and then execute under pressure against a team who was in the championship, who you were 21-point underdog to, I thought it was very, very.
And it wasn't fluky. It wasn't a block punt.
No, they won the game.
Pick six, fumble return. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's just, okay, we're going to execute down the football field consistently. And like, and I do say this right here, and I say this all the time, when team execute at a high level, it breaks the will of the other team, because we are kicking the ball all the way around the football field. We are missing blocks, and they're not. And every time that happens, it puts more and more pressure on every possession that you have. And you kind of you could feel the stress of LSU's defense in that game, because they were like, damn, we got to be damn near perfect on everything we do. And even when we're perfect, they're still catching the football, because Keon Coleman is the ultimate cheat code. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes, like I say this all the time, you can execute a team into the ground, man. And that's what Georgia did at TCU in that championship game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just
clinic.
It's a clinic. You know what I'm saying? So you have to give teams. I give teams credit when I see stuff like that. I'm like, man, that's a high level execution, and that can break the will of a team that's not mentally tough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought that was evident as well as it got to the end of the game. It was a whole lot of quitting LSU. You know what I mean? It was a whole lot of just people standing out there. You know what I mean? This is a violent game.
The only thing I couldn't understand about Brian Kelly was, especially after that first quarter, I got to be honest with you, after that first quarter, after I seen as many wide receivers I saw running open, and I know he had to see it, and his coach had to see it from the box. It's no way I wouldn't have made a coaching change. I mean, a quarterback change. It's no way. It's just no way. I'd have been like, hey, man, I can't do this. I can't do this the rest of the way.
Hold on, though. Here's the thing, right?
I'm just saying, I couldn't have did it.
No. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'd have been
I'm
like,
just
okay,
saying.
bro. Okay.
The man, you were in the stadium. Yeah. Every few minutes, they would flash Jordan Travis's and Jaden Daniels Heisman odds on the screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be. You got to be Nick Saban, the only one doing stuff like that. Like, ain't very many coaches pulling that trigger. I agree with you. I'm just saying, Brian Kelly ain't got the swag, the cachet. He ain't him. He ain't gonna be.
There was no way.
I agree with you.
It was
because
no way
again, if they're as open as you were seeing, I didn't. Again, we couldn't see it on there. I would have probably made it, or we would have been like, "Hey man, just throw it to this dude." You know what I mean? We'd have like really simplified the offense. Yeah. Hey, you line up, you throw it to him. We'll deal with the consequences. But he's been open all game. Just throw it out to see what happened. The problem was even when he was doing that, they were short. So it was giving the defenders time when he did. He's a bad quarterback.
He missed the dude. I think it was 11. Brian Thompson. He missed Brian Thompson damn near wide. I mean, this dude was wide open. Mm-hmm. He threw the corner. He threw the safety into the play.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't helping our defenders look better than what they were. It was real.
I was like, whew. I was like,
again. But that's why I said when I picked Florida State. What did I tell you? Give me my quarterback to make that play over him, because unless something has changed and he could all of a sudden throw the football.
Yeah, the AZ play. Yeah, the AZ play.
Right. Yeah, that was exactly the play. Yeah. Unless he had gotten better throwing the football, which I hadn't seen, I was going to ride with ours. And that's what happened. Our defense did exactly what they needed to do. Again, it's funny how Florida State does this, because they did this last season too. Where first half, you'll be like, yo, we got to fire Adam Fuller. The second half, it'll be like 31 straight. You know what I mean? 31 straight shutouts. Something happened in that locker room. I don't know if they don't game plan ahead of time. They like Floyd Mayweather. They got to get hit first, and then they figure out what you're doing, and then they go in, and then they adjust by like round 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Because that's what kind of Floyd talk about. He said he want to see what you feel like in the fight, and then makes his adjustments. I don't know if that's who you know what I mean, Adam Fuller is.
Right.
But if that's him, he damn good at it. Because he has done this multiple times where the group chat is like, yo, we gotta fire this cat, man. Dude's still running wide open, timeline going crazy. Second half, 31-0. Well, shit, I guess we ain't got nothing to say about Adam Fuller. You know what I mean? He does good at the halftime adjustments, man.
What I will say about I think the schedule sets up perfect for them. And I thought it set up perfect.
I was just about to ask
you early in the season. But now the games that I was concerned about, I'm not concerned about. But the games that I wasn't concerned about, I'm a little bit more concerned about now coming down the stretch of some of these games, because, you know, it is 1 or 2 quarterbacks that can take advantage of some of this stuff. But
who might them be?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I watched I don't know, man. I think North Carolina's gonna be really good.
I think North Carolina's gonna be good. I was impressed with North Carolina as well. I was gonna say that same thing.
Because when I watched them, and so I went to the tailgate, but before I went to the tailgate, I went to breakfast, and I was talking to one of my friends, boyfriends, right? And me and dude was talking, and he a North Carolina fan, right? So he watched the game the night before, and he was like, dude, how many sacks did Gainer have for y'all last year? I was like, bro, don't get me started on the Gainer situation, because I never understood why he was out of space the whole time. This dude had like 3 sacks for North Carolina, dude. Like, he's just getting to the corner.
Listen, as happy as I was like, oh, I mean, we could always use a, guy.
But no, they looked good. They looked good on the front 7, though. They looked really good on the front 7. And I mean, I know people might say it's just South Carolina, but South Carolina recruit pretty good on the front 7. And they really shut South Carolina down, dude. And Drake May looked just as good. But I do think high-level quarterback play could get his team a problem on defense, but I don't really see a lot of great quarterbacks on this schedule to really threaten the FSU, to be honest with you. I don't really see it.
Again, that's why I say I looked at the schedule and it was like, okay, so ACC championship game? Like, Florida State should not lose a game this season. Like, just based on what we've seen from Louisville, from Miami, from Florida, from anybody else on our schedule. Clemson, who, you know what I mean? Like, you start looking at the schedule again. I know it's game one, and certain teams gonna play a little bit better. They're gonna improve. Some things may change, but from a should standpoint, Florida State should run the table.
I mean, the only teams I see with quarterback power that got enough, that I think have good enough quarterback play to beat you. I mean, Duke got a good quarterback. I don't know if they got everything else though. Wake Forest got a written now. The Wake Forest game kind of that's gonna be tricky because it's a lot of good wide receivers and quarterbacks. But I think you can outscore them. So I'm not even
I
worried
was just
about
gonna
that
say
game.
my point. Every time we talk about games this season, I'm gonna be out unless somebody get hurt or something go different. That my answer is gonna be: can they get to at this point? Can they get to 40?
Right.
Like you just put 45 up on LSU, and I thought you left points on the field.
Right. I think
you know what I mean. You put 45 and you left points on the field, and that's a very good team. Like, I don't think LSU's some food like food this season. I think LSU's gonna be good. I'm saying like we left points on the field and we scored 45.
Yeah.
You tell me how Wake Forest gonna stop them to less than 45. Like, we would have to really have a bad game, as like Jordan Travis has to have the first half bad game for the entire game, and even then, I'm not sure we can lose.
Yeah,
because one thing we saw in the Colorado game is when you got a difference maker, and like Travis Hunter, you know that one hurt me. That one hurts a lot. But when you got a difference maker like Travis, hey, we're gonna just throw it up. It's third and 16. We don't have a play here. The play is to throw it to our difference maker and make one of them 50 balls 100%.
Right.
And that's what, you know what I mean? And that's really what happens.
That's what, like I said,
that's what Coleman is.
In big time matchups, man, where teams can be pretty even with college players, it is the guy that's going to be a top 5 draft pick, a top 10 draft pick that's going to make the differences, you know. And, you know, I mean, I ain't trying to hop on the Hunter situation too much, but, you know, people can say what they want to say, but that dude is and I don't like using the word, but that is a generation of talent.
Sam, the boy played 110 snaps
and wasn't tired.
And was like, nah, I'm ready. I can go back in.
Yeah.
But what was crazy was it wasn't the fact that he was making, again, I was like, listen, just let that dude play wide receiver. He ain't really got that much of impact at DB. Just let that dude play wide out.
Nah, bro.
And then the dude be like, nah. They tried him back-to-back plays, and he was like, no. And then came back and then got the pick after, like,
bro, he ran down the guy. The guy
ran him down.
He ran the guy down for 70 yards. Then turned back around 2 plays later and picked the ball off. I was like, okay, bro, that's not normal.
It's not normal. It's not normal. And it's not normal. Like, I want people to need to understand that's not normal. Like, the reason why people is freaking out is because it's not, like, you don't see it. Again, he was the best player on the field for both teams. Offensively and defensively.
Well, I mean, and this was something else I say. When you talk about quarterback play, like how good Jordan Travis was in that second half, like, I mean, completely took the game over in the second half, man. If you got a really good quarterback, bro, everything gets neutralized because, like, now I look at Ohio State, they're in trouble, bro. If they don't find a way to get good quarterback play out of there, they finna get beat 3 times this year, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they're definitely going to get beat by Penn State. Yep. Then you look at Colorado, and like me and Rose argue about this. I'm like, okay, bro, you telling me all these coaches got better teams and better players? Okay, that's fine, but I mean, other than Caleb Williams, what other quarterback is better than Shador in the Pac-12? Penix, maybe. Maybe Penix.
You saying maybe Penix?
Maybe. Ooh. I'm saying maybe. Like, I'm saying, like, that's how good.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, maybe Penix is something we didn't think we would have said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
to Cubby's point, hold on, to Cubby, I know you put it on the screen, Cubby. I just been picking little spots here and there to just say, yeah, I said that. Yeah.
I mean, bro, I can stand here and be like, hey, I called it wrong. You know what I'm saying? I really don't have a problem with that. I've been wrong before, been right before, been wrong before.
Yeah, I
do it all the time.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we're gonna be wrong this season because I'm not sure how many times we're gonna pick Florida. We're gonna pick anybody other than Florida State the rest of the season.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm almost positive Sam probably won't pick against Florida State this season.
Well, this game and the Clemson game was the only 2 games that I had as toss-up 50-50 games, and I had upset alert type games I had for Wake Forest, and Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So I mean,
neither Pittsburgh or Wake Forest should be able to outscore us, even if for whatever reason our defense plays horribly. And Clemson,
well, they got enough time to clean
I
it
forgot
up.
somebody posted, maybe Staples. He posted basically Duke runs the exact same offense and defense that we do. Yeah. So if that offense confused them and the defense shut them down, it's going to be a very long day for Clemson.
Yeah, but I don't want to get into that fuller situation, but
yeah, we'll talk. Clemson may turn around and roll up 8
well,
next week.
Well, the thing
again,
we'll
get to Clemson when we get to Clemson.
Well, the thing about saying that Duke runs the same defense, well, I mean, Mike Echo defense is way better coordinated than what ours have looked like in the last 3 years. Echo is a damn good. He is the master of that defense. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Yeah.
So they run it better. You know what I'm saying? They just run it better.
Yeah. I mean, do I believe we're going to play? Again, Clemson will not make all those turnovers, which aided to a lot of it. But also, we don't run it better, but we do have better athletes. Too bad.
They got better athletes.
Duke should not have been able to stop Clemson. I know turnovers aided it, but Duke still shut down. Like they stopped again. We'll dive in. I don't want to really dive deep because I think Clemson missing talent. I think Clemson got a lot. I think Dabo need to adapt to the times. I also don't think Dabo's a good coach. And I said that once them assistants. That's another I told you so. Cover.
Yeah,
I don't think Dabo was a good coach. I never did. I thought he was fortunate of having very good people around him. I don't think the people around him are as good as the people who were around him. Combine that with the fact that you are actively telling players, I don't want to pay you. In an era where players are trying to get paid, all this works against them.
Yeah, but
so in my opinion, I look at it and say, yeah, this is pretty much where they were headed.
But the problem with the Clemson situation is, and I don't know why, as FSU fans, we should understand this better than anybody. Like, bro, you don't stay on top forever. You don't stay on top for 25 years. You don't stay 100%. On top. It's you get to the top,
flows, man. We be up, we be down. We've been there. Yeah. We don't live this.
You get to the top, and man, it takes go miss out on 3 recruiting classes of good wide receivers.
Yep.
Go have a bad run of some of your best wide receivers get hurt and they never even make it to their full potential. And then even when people say things like, he was lucky to hire us. I mean, Dabo hired Brent Venables. Brent Venables about to get fired from Oklahoma. It ain't like he hired the best defensive coordinator in the country as he was the best defensive coordinator in the country. No, he was about to get fired. Like Dabo plucked him up from Oklahoma, hired the coaches around him. Nobody knew who Chad Morris was before Dabo hired. Nobody knew who Tony Elliott was before Dabo hired these people.
But he got it right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
if you all it takes is a Charles Kelly and somebody else, and it'll change how you. You know what I mean?
But that's my point, though. Every coach needs a good staff, man. Like they do great. Every coach needs that, man.
I'm saying
other than Saban,
Nick seemed to be able to plug and play.
He can plug and play whoever he wants. But other than Saban, bro, everybody needs it. So I don't discredit the man for it, but I think
I'm not trying to discredit. I'm not discrediting. I'm saying he's the cause of this, though. Like that's what I'm saying.
Who else would be the cause of it? It's always the person that's the head coach. That's what we always blame.
Again, when Jimbo was being stubborn. And when Jimbo was being stubborn, hey, it's on Jimbo. Jimbo, you got to adapt a little bit. This offense that you're running, we feel like it's antiquated, blah, blah, blah. You got to run. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's safe to say him being stubborn is the reason why his team is the way they are. He is the person who, if I'm not mistaken, said, if they start paying players, I'm going to find a new profession.
Right.
I don't know if he still bought in like he used to. I can't say for sure. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know nothing about the man.
Yeah.
I'm happy for the demise, I must say. I am. Because again, we got to take back the top. You know what I mean? We got to get back on the throne, and we've been down long enough. We don't watch this orange team, beat our ass for a little bit of time. So listen, be bad. Because you know what I mean? We try to get to a chip. And I was just kind of talking tongue in cheek before the season started. At this present moment, I'm dead ass. Like,
yeah, it's all in front of you right now.
Everything at this point, they are the number 4 ranked team. If you haven't seen the polls come out, the number 4 ranked team. You in the playoff. I mean, if you don't do nothing different than what you did, you do this for the next 12 weeks, you in the playoff.
And I think the crazy thing about it, I think you got enough talent on this team where you should continue to get better.
Absolutely.
I didn't think not last year's team. Well, last year's team, team before that. I thought it was a clear ceiling on those teams. Like when people get upset after the losses, I didn't really get upset. I'd be like, well, I think you're hitting your roof. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think you're hitting your top of your head on the
Yeah.
ceiling right now, and that's okay because you're still good enough to win some games. This team, in my opinion, if they can fix, like I said, they can fix some of that back end stuff, especially with the, not being confused with
I thought
motion.
the linebackers played. No, I ain't gonna talk about it.
Well,
I thought early on linebacker play was not very good.
I think it's some limitations there though. Like I don't want to get into everything, but I think
True.
other than number 4, who is really good, I think other than number 4, I think the other two they limited players. I mean,
True.
they do some good things. If they can get downhill, they can do some good things.
Very
But
much so.
Are they
Here's the
gonna
other thing. I also realized I don't know if there's a team who's gonna be able to run against us either, and that makes teams very one dimensional. Like I don't know
what's
if there's a
crazy?
back.
Coming out of that game, I was way more impressed with Fisk and Farmer.
Yep.
In that front, Edmund and me played really good in that front.
Yep.
I don't want to get on other people. I think some people might be a little overrated at times. They do some nice things and obvious passing downs, but I thought Fisk and Farmer, man, really anchored that line.
They looked impossible to run. LSU realized very early we're not getting this off.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not getting this off, and I think that's going to be consistent as well, which means that teams will absolutely have to throw the football.
Right,
may work out for some, but it probably ain't gonna work out for most.
Yeah,
it probably ain't gonna work out for most.
Yeah,
so,
I think they did a good job, man. I thought it was a real well coached game by Mike, and I think the Fuller thing, I think that's just what it is, man. They're gonna a bunch of yards gonna happen. Is people might score before half. It is what it is. But I think the offense put so much pressure on you that you have to keep up, and I think that creates a whole nother issue that feeds into your defense. So I think it's me.
I was gonna say that was why I thought Chip Kelly's like when you was like he was kicking field goals when he should have gone for it, when he should have been go. I was like, I mean, he should have been kicking field goals when you say no. I thought he had to go for it. I think he understood we aren't gonna they're gonna score points. They fit like they're beating themselves right now. They're gonna score points. We better go get these points.
Right.
Touchdowns are going to be very important right now because I don't know if field goals going to get it done. If they had 3 field goals instead of 17 points, it would have been, you know what I mean? It would have looked even worse. I think they had no choice but to go for the times that they did. Fortunately enough, our defense, again, they're limited, right? Because their quarterback can't throw. So when the defense knows, dog, Jaden finna keep this ball. It was obvious. Jaden's finna keep the football. Like you knew it. This is the design, which is why on that third, when he takes off on third down and goes for 60 or whatever, I'm like, dog, everybody know he was finna run the ball. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
So after that, it was like, okay, we know he's gonna keep it. This is simple here. He gonna keep it, and if not, we'll get beat by somebody else. But again, Jaden Daniels is limited. I don't think very many teams will be able to exploit it because I do think they should score some points because, like you said, the offensive line is very good. Ours is better. Our defensive line was better.
Yeah, I thought that front. I thought Fisk and Foreman, man, was really, really good. And I think with the next couple of games, you got Fable. You'll be able to kind of rest him and get him healthy as the season go on. I don't think he was healthy. I don't think he was healthy that game.
Who?
Fable.
Who said that? Fable. No, he didn't play. Did he?
Played a little bit, didn't he? Thought I seen him out there for like a couple snaps.
Okay, they probably again. But when me and you talked off mic, I was like, "There's no way he's been a walking boot up until this week. There's no way in the world they got him playing." I was like, "They got him listed as number 1," but it just was not possible for him to get into football shape in that much time, in my opinion. But I was glad. I mean, if he did, I don't recall him getting snaps, and maybe somebody look up them to see it. I know he didn't start and didn't play very much.
I thought I saw him out there, but man, it was a good game, man. It was a big win, and to me, I don't know, man. Other than we'll find out next couple of weeks, but material-wise, to me, they're a top 5 team. Material-wise, top 5, top 6 team to me. And with the schedule, it's possible it's possibly in the Final Four.
I'm trying not to be like I will almost be disappointed if they not. But I think based on how they played and who they played,
mm-hmm.
and how well they played, especially in the second half, showcasing how advanced, especially on offense and defense, how elite on offense and defense this team can be when everybody clicking. I'm tempered, but I almost feel like it would be a disappointment based on the fact that again you knew you had to get up in the polls. That means that you have to beat a team. If we had beat them, 31-28, we probably wouldn't have moved up but a spot. LSU probably still been ahead of us, right? Let's say we won on the fluke, like kind of how we did last year. We won the same way. We probably wouldn't have moved up that much. Winning as convincingly as we did, we got the second most first place votes. We had 3 first place votes. Michigan only had 2.
I would have ranked FSU 1 after this week.
I don't want to be ranked 1. I want them to still have something to work toward. I know it won't make a difference, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I would have had a ranked 1. I think I'd have had them. I think I would have had it FSU
ahead of Georgia, huh?
Georgia.
I'm a fan of. I don't believe you could. I don't want to jump the champion to the champ lose. That's my opinion.
Well, okay.
I would have said 2. I thought it should have been 2, but I mean, again, I'm fine at 4. Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama. There's gonna be some losses in there somewhere.
Yeah. And something else I have to give credit to too, as we like look at the season, it's 1 week. So things change from week to week. Teams will get better. Teams are scheming up a little bit better. So, it's gonna be about this team like continuing to grow. But I think they got a lot of room to grow, and that's the positive part.
And that's what's scary. Yep.
Yeah, that's the positive part. They got a lot of room to grow. So
I think when Mike came on and said this was not our best game, we didn't play our best game. Like when he comes to the podium and say we didn't play our best game, you like, oh, you're right. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah, you rolled up 45 points, 31 unanswered, and you did not play your best game. It's like, oh man, okay.
Right.
Okay. Like that's right. We got room to grow still. Like you said, I don't even know if him and Coleman have even really gotten that connection. At this point, again, just ball placement. Throw it up in my vicinity. I'm gonna come down with it. When they actually get that a little bit better, when Johnny gets a little bit crisper as that offense, as the running backs, which
I think Johnny is what he is, man. I think that's who he is. That's not a bad player though. But that's not a bad player.
It's not a bad player.
That's who he is. I think people get, because my girl be laughing at me. We be sitting there watching the game, and I'd be like, "Well, they're gonna throw it to him 6. He dropping 2 or 3. So let's just." And she'd be like, "Nah, look at he just caught that 1 pass." Then the next pass, like, bloop. She's like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "That's just who he is." Sometimes, like
got to calculate in the drops with it.
Yeah. Right, so Johnny you just gotta bake it into the equation.
Yeah, Johnny gonna have 11 catches, but 3 of them was like crucial. He gonna have 3 crucial drops. We gotta know that.
Yeah,
calculate that in when you're running your offense.
Yeah. Terrell Owens was the same way, bro. Terrell Owens would catch 6 balls, but he would drop 1 or 2. You'd be like, damn.
And it'd always be the easy one.
Yeah, always like, that's just, you just baking into the equation, man. But it's not a bad thing because he's a good player, especially in college. You know what I'm saying? Especially in college,
Mike, Tally, you're right. Mike did tell them they were gonna score every play if they just focused. Every drive, and they really did that. Like, for a coach wanting to tell you that, he know what he don't see in all off season, so he know how dope you is. He also know how better you are than the team that you playing. Listen, we're in for a fun season, guys. We have not had one of these in a long time. Let's enjoy it. Let's take a wing. I know we had already, talked about the championships and all like that. We didn't talk about games. That's what fans do. But listen, we really got to enjoy the ride, man. We have had a lot of bad seasons. We've went through a lot of shit. We got some get back. You know what I mean? Like this gonna be. Let's roll up 60 on weight. You know what I mean? Let's get back for a couple of years. Let's get. You know what I mean? If Clemson go out, let's hang 70 on Clemson. You know what I mean? We was in the stadium. We need to see a meme of one of Clemson's fans reading the book. You know what I mean? Like in the stands. We need some of them again. We ain't had those in a while, man. So I don't care if we don't call the dogs on nobody. If Southern Miss get 100 put on them, then Southern Miss got 100 put on them, man. Thank you for coming. Go on about your business. You know what I mean? And that's how I want this. I want this to really be like that all season. Because again, we had to, as people who have watched this team for our entire lives, we have dealt in over these last few years. We've had to deal with the 4-8s and with the 5-win seasons and had to duck. We had to duck Clemson a few years back. I don't know if y'all remember that. You know what I mean? We ducked Clemson out of safety of our children. You know what I mean? Like we did that. You know what I mean? So when I say we got to hang 60 on Clemson, we got to hang 60 on Clemson because they was going to do unspeakable things to us, and I was glad for Mike to do that. I wanted him to duck a few more of those that season.
Yeah,
blame everything on COVID. think he
Yeah,
did. He
man.
canceled the rest of the games, didn't he?
Man, but I tell you, man, it was great being out there, man. I got a chance to tailgate. I met a
Yeah.
lot of people. That was cool, bumping into people and everything like that. Man, I was so tired yesterday when I got back. I was like, I'm too sleepy, man. I said, I can't record shit. I'm tired. Bro, like, come on, man, record. Like, man, I'm tired. I went to sleep, dude. I didn't wake up till like 8 o'clock right for the game.
Right.
Oh,
and I fell asleep by what? I missed it. I caught it on like this morning. I fell asleep by 9. I was so exhausted from just man. I fell asleep 9 o'clock. I got text message galore. They losing. They finna lose. Yeah, nah. We gotta get some. Yeah, this I get back here, y'all. There it is. Yeah, this I get back here. We like what Dion say. We got receipts.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
bro.
got
It felt
receipts.
like I got hit by a bus when I got back. I was like, God darn, dude. I woke up, I'm like, man, what in the hell? But it was fun though, man. We had a good ass time, man. Yeah, I did get to see I got to meet the Renegade Report. He was out there, George. George was out there. Nice meeting George. You know, it was nice, man. It was nice. Y'all should come to the tailgate one day. It's nice.
Yeah,
I like
man.
meeting up with y'all guys.
I
But
got a
anyway,
newborn. Getting out this house is difficult, man. You
oh
already
yeah.
know what
Good
that's
luck with
going.
that for the next 2 years.
I, I'm indoors, man. I done built a nice little man cave. I'm gonna tell you, you have to come around this weekend. We have to watch them hang 100 on what's his name? Well, yeah, watch them hang 100 on Southern Miss. So.
Yeah. Well, if anybody got any questions, no questions. I don't see no.
Man, ain't no questions. What's the questions? You know what I mean?
Man, they say Sam put some
How many?
respect on DJ Lundy. Yeah, he was he had one good play. I gotta
London,
give it to
London.
him. Shout out to
No,
him.
London had a decent game.
Yeah,
London
all
had,
right. Yeah, it's okay.
yeah, decent game.
First half of trash ref didn't help. Yeah, I
They
agree.
did not. They did not.
We did the told me so segment. Y'all told me so. I was dead ass wrong. This team's a juggernaut. Just like last year. Just like last
He
year.
say, I was wrong. He said this
Sam,
team's a juggernaut.
why aren't you a riff? I can't help myself. I keep going to the games. I don't know what my problem is. I got to stop this stuff. That's a good question, Kevin.
Listen, man, Sam don't just root against the team. Sam was rooting to be wrong. Sam believed what he believed. You know what I mean? Like Sam believed that LSU was going to be a juggernaut, and we did not know that we were a paper juggernaut before the game started. We thought we had heard everything, we seen all the additions, and then we were like, all right, well, if they play like they're supposed to, then yeah, we'll see. I just happen to believe in the hype a little bit more than Sam.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the people. I have to see stuff first. You know, I have to
Yeah.
see it first. I'm one of the people that I gotta see how all this stuff kind of translate. Then it kind of informs my decisions. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, you know, I'm always glad to be wrong. To be honest with you, especially when I'm picking my team. You know what I'm saying? I'm always glad to be wrong about stuff like that. So that's good, man. But it was good, man. Now I get to watch my Jaguars this year. They're gonna be great. My Noles
Peter
gonna be
King
great.
got us as number one. Picked us as number one. I like it.
As we should be. As we should be.
We should be.
We got the if you're in the fantasy draft, it's tonight at 8:00. So y'all make sure y'all be ready for that. Whoever's in.
You put me out, right?
Yeah, I had to. I had to put you out.
Yeah. No, it's all right, man. I wasn't gonna check that thing.
Somebody said, does LSU face a wide receiver as good as yeah, he does actually. I think Wake Forest pretty low that wide receiver, man. Banks, that kid Banks, and their quarterback, and they got a better quarterback. So I think that'd be the best passing game you face the rest of the season, actually, will be Wake Forest. But like I said, I think you can outscore them, and I think we'll cause some problems with them on the line of scrimmage. So I think we should beat Wake Forest.
I was gonna say that the difference, in my opinion, is that D line. That D line is gonna cause havoc. Like you said, probably the best offensive line they're gonna face all season long, and they were able to impose their will, especially that second half.
Yeah,
you
talking about Duke. I agree with you. I think Duke's going to be another interesting game because I think Echo's a really, really good coach, and that's a really good. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't count out really, really good coaches with a really good quarterback. I don't ever count them out. So I will say that will be a game. I just think we should be able to outscore.
When you say a game, what you I guess what I'm saying. This is where I guess I'm at a relative point. Like I agree with you. Wake Forest is going to be a game that you have to think about.
Duke, I mean, you can't go out there and play a C game. You can't play a C game. You can't have a multiple turnover game and have multiple miscues and beat them because they're not going to beat themselves.
Gotcha. Okay. What? You know what I'm saying? What would you call the first half against LSU? Like, what game were we playing then?
I thought
Because
we were
that's
playing,
because I'm and the reason I asked because I don't the reason I'm asking is because I thought that probably was, I want to say the worst we could play, but I thought it was C-ish.
I don't think that's the
C-ish,
worst. I don't think that was the worst you could
D-ish.
play because you didn't really turn the football over.
They did turn the football over. Jordan Travis threw an interception. He should have thrown the second.
He threw one.
No, it was the fumble. It was the fumble, and then he was going, and then I thought he was going to throw the pick. No, he threw a pick. Yeah, because he muffed the punt, and then he threw the pick right afterwards.
Oh, you know what? He did throw a pick. Yeah, he threw one pick,
and he was headed to throw. Yeah, and he was about to throw another one, but again, just it was.
Yeah, that would have been a touchdown. That was
concerning. That was going to be a touchdown. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like again, I thought that was about as bad as I saw. I thought Jordan could have looked, and I thought as bad offensively this team could have looked. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying if the first half against LSU, our C game, we was only down 17-14. Okay, but I would say a C game could beat Duke. I don't want, but it makes for a much closer game against Duke and Wake Forest.
But I don't think you could do that against somebody like Wake and Duke because of their quarterback play, because they can hit wide open receivers. You know what I'm saying? They can hit. So you can't fumble and kick you can't do what Clemson did yesterday. Like how they was just fumbling the ball around and stuff like that.
Okay.
You can't play like that.
A lot of turnovers, stuff like that. Yeah, okay.
You could turn the ball over probably 5 times and beat the team you're gonna play next week, right? You could.
Yeah. You can play your F game. You're gonna win the game.
Yeah, you'll probably still beat them.
You don't have to start Jordan, and you should still win by a lot. Yeah.
Right. But I'm saying you couldn't do that against Duke or against Wake. You couldn't do that.
Yeah,
you couldn't have it.
And I agree with that. I agree, and that's why I guess that's kind of what I was asking, because like when I look at the games, I'm saying I can't see them losing another game at this point. I'm saying like, do we have close games, or the rest of is it 2013 all over again? That's kind of what I'm saying. Because if you say Duke's gonna be a problem, all right, 2013 Duke was the best in my opinion. We had seen them. They still got to be 31-0.
Right. But
can I see another 31-0? Yeah.
But I think it's gonna take a team with really good QB play to beat you, though. Right.
Which is why Wake is probably the closest one in my opinion.
Right.
Because Wake will be the one that I might be a little bit more nervous for,
and because what they can do with those wide receivers. I think they got 3 NFL guys at wide receiver. Personally, I mean, I think that dude Banks is like a really good. I think he's really, really good. I think the other 2 guys they got, those 2 speed guys they got, are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Wake could cause you if but you should dominate the line of scrimmage against Wake.
I'm just talking talent for talent. I'm not I get with Duke and everything like that, and I get from a scheme standpoint, but Duke should not be talent for talent.
No, you
able
should
to line up with us. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like when I get it, Duke decent, but it's hard for me to look at and say, even where with the talent that we have on our roster, I don't believe Duke should beat us. Now, again, I guess Clemson could say the same thing, and they just lost. So, I don't know.
You can't play. You can't do. It's like kind of like when you playing against a good quarterback and a good coach that's not going to kill himself. You can't give them extra possessions. You can't hand them possessions, right? Like, I mean, you saw that
turnovers can definitely make a big difference. And if we don't turn the ball over, that's what I mean.
Yeah, you saw that with Colorado and TCU. I thought TCU was a better team than Colorado, right? On the line of scrimmage, you could tell them, see them wearing on Colorado, but you can't turn the ball over twice in the red zone against that team, right? Because you giving Shador 2 more possessions. You know what I'm saying?
And he was going to make you pay. And the way he was dialed in, he was going to make you.
Yeah, dude. Can we talk about him real quick, dude?
I'm not surprised by it. The kid was a 4-star quarterback coming out of high school. We wanted him. You know what I mean? Like I've always thought he was good. Like I really never thought, that other son. But Shador is a baller, and I've been saying that since I wanted him here when we were in the recruitment forum or whatever. I know for a fact we talked about getting Shador Sanders here. So no, I was to me I wasn't surprised by it. I actually expected him to play well. When I actually said I think like Colorado may be okay, I said it was because they got Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter. You got a quarterback and a wide receiver. That was my thought process. And this was before I thought they were going to beat,
Yeah, I think
the defending, the defending guys who was in the championship last year. I didn't think that, but I did think they had, they were going to be decent just because I thought some of those worser teams that they got on their schedule, I thought Shador and Travis Hunter could account for a win or two.
Yeah, I think watching him do. I told somebody, I was telling my friend, I said you can tell that training he get from Brady, like it's take hold because he does stuff that, like I watched the quarterback from Clemson last night. He was hitting Shipley on those swing routes, but Shipley literally had to stop to catch the football. You know what I'm saying?
That dude is not generational like the other guys they've had in there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
that's the other thing about.
But a lot of quarterbacks do that though in college. But Shador, everybody he hits him in stride. So like he maximized the amount of yards you can get per play. Like when he throw the football to people. Like so instead of being like a 5 yard, you hit a breaking in route for 5 yards. He hit you in stride. Now is like 15 yards.
You know, and you got really good, and they got good receivers. Like again, Travis Hunter, that boy Horn was good, and that running back as fast as all get us. Like
and Weaver.
Yeah, like they got good skill. Now again, they don't have nothing on the lines on
neither
one of their lines.
The offensive line is good. That's a big offensive line because I looked at the thing. It's like they like 6'8", 320, 6'6", 300. Okay. Yeah, so they big on offense. That D line is just that defense line
they did. That defense line they did.
Yeah, but they can cover though. They can cover.
They can't cover, and that makes it. And that's again. It's hey man. Anyway, listen, man. We want to know. We want to know.
And I'm gonna try to do some
taking a game at a time.
I'm gonna try to do some I'm gonna start putting out some like reaction pods. Like they'll be like 30 minutes, really short, 30 minutes. So that way I don't have to always, because sometimes me and Brandon always having to coordinate. So we'll give y'all the one live pod, and I think I'll try to do like a 30-minute reaction pod once during the week about something. Yep. You know what I'm saying? For more content. And I know me and Nikki are talking about starting back up. We'll do more NFL stuff. So man, y'all tune in, stay with us. Go try to get more content out. Man, this was great. Feels good to be back. Feels good to be 1-0. Feels good to be playing for something. You know what I'm saying?
Man, like just play, like having like something to do on Saturdays. Cause I ain't gonna lie, at one point, man, it was like, oh, they do play today. I don't know. You know what I mean? I might go to the beach. I'm gonna have it on in the background while I do something else. You know what I mean? Like it stopped being appointment TV. I imagine there's not a Florida State fan who ain't got the rest of it. Hey, I don't know what you got planned for these next Saturdays. Cancel them. You know what I mean? Like cancel.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be appointment viewing now. It's appointment viewing now. Yeah, this is must see TV.
Yeah. Again, the brand is the brand.
Yeah.
What they had to set the highest viewership of the weekend, because the brand is the brand. We keep saying it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make sure I put the podcast, Apple Podcast, in the live chat right now. Copy the link. I'm gonna drop that, man. So if you on YouTube, you're not on Apple with us, make sure you jump in to Apple, subscribe to the show.
Subscribe.
Hit some like buttons on the Apple stuff and hit some like buttons on the pod, man. Brandon, got anything else?
No, man, that's it.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Keep rocking with us. 5-star your boys. And let's get ready. It's gonna be some ass whippings this weekend. I mean, there's these coming weeks. It's gonna be some ass whippings coming. Ass whippings on the way.
Yeah. We serving them. Yeah.
Serving them. Yep. All right.
We out.